very warm welcome in the class of numerical methods. In this particular course, we are now in the topic of regular falsi method for finding out the roots of algebraic and transcendental equations, which actually falls into the module of finding out the solution of the equation or the roots of the given equation in algebraic and transcendental equations. In this particular part, already we have gone through one method in the last lecture, that is bisection method. Now we are going to apply this method, which is called regular falsi method, for the same type of problems. But this problem, rather we should say this method, is having some common features with bisection method and obviously some updation which is absent in bisection method, for which this method actually becomes little bit separate from the previous one. In the basic discussion, we are going to check out those in the context of working rules, but in a deeper sense we can also find out the relationship of error calculations, the convergence criteria, and so on. So let us start the job. We have fx, it is given, and in the last discussion we also have the information that if we get AB such that fa into fb is less than 0, then the existence of the root is guaranteed in the closed interval a comma b. After that we are going for bisection method in the previous discussion with bisecting this a and b closed interval. But now we are moving for some another way for regular falsi method, and what is the geometry behind it. So suppose we have one functional representation like this. So it is very much obvious that at this point A and at this point B we are getting FA is positive and FB is negative. So FA into FB is less than 0. So what we are doing, we are joining these 2 points by a straight line. And this straight line cuts this x-axis at a point C. It is clear from this picture that this is our root, and it is also clear from the picture that from A to B we are having the guarantee or the existence of the root. The root is here, but at this moment we get this C over here. Now please follow the philosophy behind this calculation. At this point C we are dropping one perpendicular on this curve, and what we are doing, we are again connecting these 2 points by another straight line, and we can see that new C, I can call it as C1, is generated, and this C1 is closer to this root than the previous one, that is C. So the theme is very much clear. This process what we are planning, if I can represent it mathematically, then gradually there will be a perpendicular drop, and again if I connect these 2 points, then the connection with x-axis intersection will be at here. So it is again more close to the desired root. So in this way, in each and every step we are approaching to the exact root. Maybe we are not going to touch the root, but we are very much close to this root as we are doing the number of iterations higher and higher. So this geometrical concept, if represented in such a way that we are trying to find out the equation of this straight line, we know that if we have this point, we can write it as a comma fa, and the next point, that is b comma fb. Then the connector of these 2 points can be written as y minus y0 by y1 minus y0 is equal to x minus x0 by x1 minus x0, where just by comparing this we can write it as y minus y0, that is fa, because a and b are my first 2 points, is equal to x minus x0. X minus x0 means here it will be a, by x1 minus x0, then y1 minus y0, that is fa. So now if we want to get the point x is equal to c, at this point our job, if it is going to be a root, then obviously y will be at that point it will be 0. So putting this relationship into this, I am keeping the intermediate calculation for your purpose, we can get that the result will be coming as the desired root afb minus bfa by fb minus fa. We have to find out this expression, and then we have to check the functional value at this particular point is going to be positive, is going to be 0, or is going to be negative. Why? Now I think it will be clear to you, because in the last lecture we have discussed on this. Because if we have a and b initially and then c we are generating, either a to c or c to b will be giving you their product and functional value is negative. Any one of them obviously will be negative, and if it is 0 our job is exactly done, but if anyone is negative we have to go for this process. So finally what we can say, if we move for the final calculation, then we can write out our working rule as x2 is equal to x0 minus, actually in the context of regular falsy method you can simplify this one also, or you can use this particular working rule for your final purpose. I have started with x0 and x1 and I am calculating x2 with the help of x0 and x1, and my working rule will become like this. So at the endpoints of the intervals x0 x2, if I write it as x0 x2, because after calculating x2 which is not exactly in the middle position like bisection method, here it is not exactly in the middle position, x0 x2 or x2 x1, here x2 is generated by the intersection of that straight line with x-axis. This is my x2. So it is guaranteed that the value of fx will be opposite sign, and the method is applied again to this interval. If x0 x2, that means fx0 and fx2 are of opposite signs, then the root lies between here and otherwise over here, because we have the guarantee that within x0 and x1 the root must be there. So in this way we have to proceed for x2. After that, getting x2, we will think for x3. After that we will think for x4, and we will go up to the desired accuracy level. So this is the whole scheme of this particular problem, as well as this is the working rule for finding out the result of regular falsy method. Now if we think for the application of this particular method for a problem, so let us go for a problem, then it will be more clear for us. Find the root of the equation x cube minus 2x minus 5 is equal to 0. By using Regula-Falsy method. So our job will be, from this part we are going to assume fx is equal to x cube minus 2x minus 5. f0 we are getting as minus 5. Look at this here, f1 we are going to find it out, but it is again negative, and we are taking for f2, then we are getting again negative, and we are going for f3, we are getting 16. So from this calculation we are deciding that there is a root guaranteed in this closed interval 2 and 3. So that is why we are choosing x0 is equal to 2 and x1 is equal to 3, given f0 here we are taking f2 is equal to minus 1 and f3 is equal to 16. Now we are going to use the formula x2 is equal to x0 minus fx0 by fx1 minus fx0 into x1 minus x0. So we are now again trying to find out the tabular representation so that it will be easier for us to find it out. So we can get from the previous calculation that x2 is our 2.0588. Now if we want to represent it, the further calculations in tabular form for the cleanliness of our calculation, and also it will help us a lot for finding out the relationships. So n, then we are writing it as xn minus 1. I am taking it for less than 0 part. After that we are taking for xn, and which is also for greater than 0 part, and then we are going for fxn minus 1, and next we are calculating for only fxn. So according to our further requirements, the table will be for xn plus 1, and finally it is for f of xn plus 1. So this is the structure for our table. Now we will just show you first 1 or 2 steps. That is, for n equal to 1 we are taking it as 2, and it is 3 we are getting it is as minus 1, and this is for 16. Already in the previous slide we have calculated this one, and we get it as 2.0588 according to the working rule. Now the functional value at this point becomes minus 0.3908. So as the functional value is coming as negative, and we are getting the functional value negative for xn minus 1 for 2, so now our point of discussion will be 2.0588 and 3. So now in the next step, that means in the next iteration, for n equal to 2 we will make it for 2.0588 and 3, and here we already get the value of this one minus 0.3908, and we are getting already the previous value will be remaining as 16, and now it becomes 2.0813, and we are getting the value as minus 0.1460. In this manner we can go for the third one. I am just trying to ask you one question. Please generate this question in your mind if possible, then it will be better. It is minus 0.1460 and it is 16, and when we are calculating for this one we are getting 2.08 0.62, and the value here we are getting minus 0.0920. Now before going for the fourth, fifth and other steps, I just want to say one thing, that you must have an observation at this particular point, that once it is 16, it remains as 16. That means once we are getting it as 3, we are getting this as 3. So there is no such hop, skip and jump process like this, because it is in your bisection method. And here you are, if you can recall that you have done this one, but you need to go to this one. Every time you are dropping the perpendicular, you are closing to this root, but in one direction. It is not that you are going from this direction, then in this direction, then again in this direction, which was there in bisection method. But in regular falsi, from the geometry it is one directional, and as well as from the calculational point of view we are also saying the same thing. And here also we are seeing the functional value is very much approaching to 0. That means once we are going for the further iterations, we are getting closer and closer to the exact root. So here if we go for the 7th step, where we can get it as 2.0941, it will be obviously 3. Now you got the confidence on this one. It will be minus 0.0050. This will remain as 16. It will be 2.0943. So here we can say that hence the root of this given function is 2.0943 up to, correct, up to 4 places of decimal or 4 decimal places. Here also there are some process through which we are thinking about that when we are calling it as 4 decimal places, because we have to check the ith position and the I plus 1th position, and in these two positions up to 4 decimal places, if there is no change, that means we can stop over there. So this is completely a technical part. Obviously we need this for time limiting our process. So this is the whole thing about the regular falsi method. Now I just want to say you that these are the important references for further reading, and obviously you can proceed for all these calculations and problems on these types of topic in these references. And also please solve these types of problems. Here I am giving 2 or 3 problems, and you will get the answers of these types of problems for MCQs in any standard book, and also you can feel free to ask me any questions anytime. And thank you all for your kind patience. Happy listening, happy learning.